Hi, I'm Walt Cooley, editor of Progressive Dairyman magazine. In a recent issue of Progressive Dairyman, Scott Stewart described a fascinating book called The Way of the Turtle by Curtis Faith. I asked Scott to describe more about his thoughts on the book. Thanks for joining us, Scott. Tell me a little bit about this book that you found.
We're talking about Curtis Faith's book, Way of the Turtle. And what Curtis talks about in the book is how Richard Dennis, legendary trader from Chicago, came about the concept of turtles. Reportedly, Dennis was visiting Singapore, and he was visiting a turtle farm in Singapore. And as he gazed out over the mass of turtles before him, a light went off, and it occurred to him that he could replicate commodity traders the way they were replicating turtles in Singapore. So he came back to the United States, interviewed a whole batch of people, hired a number of them, and gave them each money to trade commodities. And in a matter of 2 weeks, he trained the turtles how to be expert commodity traders, and then gave them money to go off and be successful traders. After that experiment proved successful, a year or so later, he hired a second group of turtles, and in 1 week trained them to be commodity traders and gave them each money. And the turtles reportedly made Dennis over $30 million, and many of the turtles went off to be very successful commodity traders on their own in later years. So the real moral of the story is this commodity trading thing isn't all that mysterious or complex, and it doesn't take years and years and years and hours and hours and hours of training to do it successfully. What it can be boiled down to is some very simple rules, some simple discipline, and when applied consistently, you can do it very successfully. So that's what you can learn from the turtles.
So Scott, what do you think made the turtles successful?
The turtles that were the most successful were the ones that stuck to their rules, followed the major trends, had very clear entry and exit signals, used very clear risk management on each of the positions they got into, and went about their approach to marketing with the expectation that they were going to be wrong some of the time, and that they could accept being wrong some of the time, as long as they managed to be right and their wins were bigger than their losses, and they consistent by a substantial margin. And the same is true in commodity marketing, whether it be buying feed or whether it be pricing milk. If you price milk and the market goes on higher, don't kick yourself. Pat yourself on the back that you made your decision. And now you can work to build your average price and improve that price. A lot of it comes back to how positive you view your moves, how much discipline you bring to your marketing, and how much structure you bring to the marketing. Eliminate the emotion and put in clear buy and sell signals. You can use technical analysis to do some of that, such as using trigger points below the market to determine when to make sales. Other things you can do is what we call market scenario planning, where you're thinking about what are you going to do if the market goes higher, what are you going to do if the market goes lower, and clearly lay out your strategy so that you're prepared for no matter what the market dishes out at you. That's what the best and most successful turtles did. They put on a position, when it worked they let it run, they managed the position with a great deal of discipline, and when the position moved against them, they unemotionally just dumped it and got out and put it aside. They learned from it, but they didn't dwell on it, and they moved on. And those are some key lessons that you can learn from the turtles.
Thank you, Scott. You can find a link to Scott's article in the video's caption info.